Hello everyone, my name is Webweaver, and welcome back to another episode of It's Look Who It Is. So here's the deal, right? I feel like I need a distraction, okay? I need like a recreational distraction to help, endure the horrors, because here's the thing, right? It's pretty bad out there. So I'm thinking about what can distract me, okay? And I think I found the perfect... I think I have found the perfect thing to do, which is go back to reread and catch up with One Punch Man, and then resume reading Invincible, okay? And the reason why... Who are we gonna play? We played Toshiaki. Let's do a Aiko run, right?
Yeah.
When's the last time we've done an Aiko run? Let me check. But basically, right, like, for those of you who don't remember, for those of you who don't remember the arc, okay? I have read One Punch Man several times, and I've caught up on One Punch Man several times. And whenever I do, I always get pissed off. Because, One Punch Man is Aiko 10 days ago? Oh, but that was endless mode, though. That doesn't count. Aiko 10 days ago, but that was endless mode. That doesn't count. I'll hit random. You can, you know what? Let's do random perks, Aiko. That'd be kind of fun. We still only got 5 old gods, by the way. I need to, like, unlock the rest of them. I don't know. Ithutu? Medical history. Ithutu. Okay. So every time I catch up on One Punch Man, I get mad. Every time I reread One Punch Man, I get mad. Why? Well, it's because it has to come down to the oh god, I forgot his name. The guy who wants to become a monster, who wants to become a villain. Can't believe I forgot his name. The funny guy who, whenever he gets beat up, he comes back stronger. I really did forget his name. That's crazy. So that does mean that I need to reread One Punch Man. But just like, okay. Okay, I need to look up his name. I need to look up his name just so I can talk about this. One Punch Man characters. I can't believe I forgot Homeboy. I remember who Drive Knight is. I remember that his name is Drive Knight. But where... Former heroes. No. Unknown class. No. This wiki is completely useless. Is there not a villains page? Is it just heroes? Custom hero. Unknown class. Former heroes, grad school graduate, my favorite. Mysterious beings, Boros. Garo! I don't know why I kept thinking Genos, and I was like, Genos is the robot guy. Garo! Okay. So anyways, it has to come down to the Garo arc. It will always come down to the Garo arc, the several rewrites, and the people from the web novel who wanted, or the webcomic, who wanted Garo to be like the webcomic version and not the anime version. So basically, Garo in the original One Punch Man was an irredeemable bastard, alright? He was a fucker, okay? He was a douchebag, alright? Terrible person, alright? And he became a fan favorite character. And he had some character development where he kind of like, he was still like an asshole, but people liked him a lot, so he had sort of like an endearing quality, right? And I'm not talking about like in universe, I mean like in the fandom, right? He was like a fan favorite character. Everybody loved Garo, and everybody was waiting for the Saitama Garo fight, right? That was like a big thing that everybody was hyped up for. When the anime came out and we got to Garo, they made Garo through the lens of, like, everybody likes this guy, and we don't want him to be that big of a bastard, right? Because he's a fan favorite character, and we want him to be a little bit more redeemable. So he starts out like a massive dickhead, and he is just like a violent asshole, right? But he's kind of like immediately an anti-hero, or like a good character, but falls outside of the system, and so thus is, you know, like, he's a good guy, but since he falls out of the system, and One Punch Man has a lot of themes about conformity, and, like, being, like, your social status and ability to answer, like, questions on a questionnaire and conform to society is more important than your actual abilities, right? So Saitama gets the lowest rank as hero when he takes the hero exam, even though he is the One Punch Man, and he is the strongest person in the galaxy, or multiverse, or whatever, right? And so it's like, since Saitama is bad with procedural stuff, since he's bad with, you know, he's bad with tests, he's bad with procedures, he's bad with being an official, like, serious person, he doesn't get to be in that society of S-class hero. And Genos, who is much, much weaker than Saitama, who does know how to answer a quiz and answer a test, can effortlessly become an S-rank hero, even though he's significantly weaker than Saitama, right? And One Punch Man is very clever in that way, because it plays off of that, right? Like, everybody who is above Saitama as, like, a hero is there because it's a procedural thing, right? And then the narrative concocts very funny ways that Saitama never gets credit for anything that he does because he's a pathetic C-class hero and nobody would expect anything of a C-class hero, so he's just trying to steal credit from the big leagues, right? And then the sort of, like, payoff of the narrative is it slowly unraveling, and I forgot to buy something, whoops. The narrative slowly unraveling, and more people in the industry of being a hero, and that's one of the other great things about it, is that it's the hero industry, right? It's a place for people to make money, and, like, you know, their image can be put out there, they can become celebrities, right? That more and more people in the hero industry realize that, holy shit, this Saitama guy's insane. Caped Baldy is crazy with it, you know? But the thing with the Garo fight is that, and the thing with One Punch Man, right? If you don't know what One Punch Man is, and I've just been rambling insane shit, right? One Punch Man has a very clear premise. It was a parody on superheroes and the superhero genre. And what it did was, it created a character, Saitama, who is just a young guy who went bald at a young age, and he wants to be a hero because he thinks being a superhero is cool. And essentially, he is the strongest, right? Like, there is nobody in the multiverse who is stronger than Saitama. He has, like, not even plot armor, it's just, like, literally, it's almost like a, how do I put it? Like, nothing can work against him, because that's the point, is, like, the whole thing is, it's like, he's the One Punch Man, and nothing, you can't poison him, you can't mind control him, you can't, use, like, supernatural abilities on him, and he's invulnerable, he's faster than you are, etc., etc. And the way that they explain it, is it's kind of like I think it's kind of like the Tick, where it's like he removed his limiter, and so he's just, like, infinitely scaling his power, and nobody can possibly catch up with him. And so it's a very, like, I know that sounds like a boring show, but it's absolutely fantastic. Like, it is very good. It is a very good show, and it is worth watching. And the first few arcs of the manga are really good. But then we get to the Garo fight, which will always piss me off, because One Punch Man went through several rewrites. Because, well, how do I put it? It went through several rewrites because the fan base were upset with how it was going, and I think that's dumb because I think it was going really well initially, but they were trapped in the Monster Association arc for like 80 years, dude, and they just kept rewriting it over and over and over again. Like, I remember the old like Phoenix Man fight against what is it, Child Emperor? What the hell is his name? Like, I remember that, and then like the Phoenix God thing, and I don't even like, I remember both of those fights, and now, like, you know, one of them's canon and rewrote the other one. But the thing about it, dude, the thing about it that's so frustrating is when they finally got to the Saitama versus Garo fight, they basically set up something that was perfect for what One Punch Man was. And I need to go back to explaining Garo a little bit more, because that's pretty important. Second enemy, school gore-covered student, by the way. So basically what ended up happening was Garo, you know, he's an irredeemable bastard. He's a pure villain, pure evil guy, right? And for the show, they decided to basically turn Garo into a different character entirely, right? So Garo is, in the show, he was a young kid who he always thought that it was really unfair that in media and in real life, the monster always lost, right? And he would play heroes and monsters, or heroes and villains, with his like friends, and they would and they would always make him play the monster, and he would always lose because the monster always loses, right? And Garo always thought that was fundamentally unfair. And they basically created an entirely different character, but he had the same name, same appearance, right? And that pissed off the webcomic Andes, right? They hated it. And so they created this character who I actually really like, anime Garo. I actually really like manga Garo, right? And I think he's really cool. Nice, we dodged it. That's pretty cool. But yeah, basically, anime and manga Garo is a completely different character, and I like anime and manga Garo because I enjoy the whatchamacallit. We'll take deduction, why not? I like the character that they created because I think he fits better for the overall, like, actual style and themes that One Punch Man has, right? Like, having an irredeemable bastard character who wants to be, like, a villainous monster is fine, but having a character who thinks that it's unfair that the heroes always win, and he sees the monsters as sort of, like, victims who are basically being bullied, and then he, like, imposes himself over that because he was also bullied, and then he becomes, like, one of the most fearsome martial artists in the world. I think that's pretty dope as hell. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to discount web novel Garo, because I understand a lot of people like him. A lot of people like his arc. But that's the thing, is that they created an entirely different character. And the Garo storyline that we got in the manga anime does not fit with the web novel Garo storyline at all. But the web novel fans wanted that payoff of having the, like, super Garo from the web novel be represented in the manga. But that's not what we initially got. What we initially got was Garo fighting the Monster Association. And, like, here's the thing. A lot of people think that the Metal Bat team-up is, like, one of the worst moments in the manga. I liked it because it fit his character. Like, Garo's entire, like, manga character is that, you know, the manga Garo would team up with Metal Bat. The web novel Garo would not team up with Metal Bat. And that's the conflict, right? They would fight the centipede together in the manga, but they wouldn't do that in the web novel, right? And I can't stop thinking about the conclusion. So obviously in the web novel, Garo and Sayatama beat the shit out of each other, and then, you know, Sayatama ends up winning, right? Because he's the One Punch Man. He always wins, right? But in the manga, the initial storyline, this isn't canon. This got rewritten, so this is not a spoiler, okay? The initial plot that they went with, Torn Muscle kind of sucks, because we're still in this mystery for a few more investigations. But, we probably just take... I don't like doing that, but it is what it is. This actually kind of sucks, but... Basically, Sayatama... Like, the manga anime Garo is not somebody who needed to go absolutely insane and just, like, you know, become a villain and then get killed, right? Like, or whatever, you know? And I'm not saying that's what happened in the, like, rewritten version of the story. I'm just saying that, like, the Garo that we have in the manga anime did not need to get, like, absolutely the shit kicked out of him. Because that's what happens several other times throughout the story. I don't know if you've seen those compilations of Garo trying to attack Sayatama, and then Sayatama just being like, "Who are you? Leave me alone," and then just slapping him into the next, like, zip code, right? Basically, in the rewritten, non-canon thing, Monster Garo tried to attack Sayatama, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all, because it's Sayatama. You can't attack Sayatama. And what ended up happening... Sure, let's gamble. Let's go gambling, chat. This is probably, like, one of the worst outcomes possible. Hello, hi! You see some vicious beast outside the window? I see our neighbors, so don't bark at them. Let's go gambling! Aw, shit. It's fine, it's just Doom. We're alright. But, basically, every time that he attacked Sayatama, he would throw, like, some, like, continent-shattering punch, and the shockwave would cause something good to happen. So, right, like, he punched Sayatama, and then it caused a volcano to break in the background. But that volcano's lava, because the volcano was erupting, it was gonna erupt on a small town, because he broke the volcano, all the lava harmlessly got redirected in another direction. Or he punches Sayatama so hard into the planet's core that it causes a tectonic shift on the other side of the planet, which lifts like Atlantis out of the ocean, and an airplane that had crashed into the ocean and the people were drowning now have dry land to stand on, you know? And they did all this stuff, and it was cute. It was very fun. It was very fun, and it was cool. And the art was amazing, because you did have Monster Garo showing his insane strength, right? You did have all of that. You got that payoff of seeing Monster Garo go absolutely insane with it, right? And, like, showing off that he's, like, the strongest monster. But then, it ended with Sayatama basically saying, like, "Hey, you got it out of your system, buddy?" And then sitting down in, like, a collapsed apartment next to, like, one of those, like, you know, one of those, like, small tables, like, you'd sit on the ground, and then you could, like, put your knees under the table or whatever. It was, like, one of those, right? I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I saw the artwork. But, it was basically Sayatama just sitting down in one of those and basically saying, like, "Hey, pull up a chair, get comfortable, let's sit down and talk about this, because that little kid who called you uncle doesn't want me to kill you. So let's talk about this." And it was the perfect ending for what the story was going for and what the entire story up until this point. It was the perfect payoff because you didn't feel like you got cheated because you got to see Garo punch somebody so hard that it caused the planet to shift, right? You got the ultimate payoff, and here's the thing. Here's the most important thing that I didn't even mention until now, okay? Garo's entire shtick is that he wants to be powerful himself. The entire Monster Association arc, he is telling the Monster Association to go fuck themselves, because the Monster Association is going around to very powerful villains and saying, like, hey, we're gonna give you this monster virus seed thing, and if you eat it, you become a monster. And you'll become, like, super powerful, and you'll help us take over the world. The thing is, though, how do I put this? It's very important. How do I put this? You know, Garo, he rejects them all. He fully rejects them because he wants to use his power. He wants to use his martial arts. He wants to use his body, his power, his training to be the villain, to be the ultimate monster. He wants to do that himself. And then he finally gets that. And then you have that fight with Saitama where he just starts beating the shit out of Saitama, and every time he throws a punch, it causes some, like, would-be disaster, but it actually, because of, like, karma, and Garo doesn't actually want to hurt people, and the sort of, like, actions that he takes reflects that. Or he doesn't want to hurt innocent people, I should say. He wants to hurt heroes, because he views them as bullies, but you know, he punches something, breaks a volcano, blah, 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 punches Saitama, flies in the core of the planet, causes a tectonic shift on the other side of the planet, lifts up an airplane, saves a bunch of people, right? That sort of thing. So you get to see that amazing display of power, and it's all what Garo worked for with his own two hands, and then you get that release of, like, okay, Garo's got it out of his system, time to sit down, time to talk, okay? And then you get to what's actually canon, what actually happens. And again, I need to make this as clear as possible. Garo is such a guy who does not want any help whatsoever. Oh, this sucks. 3 boss mysteries back to back. Okay. Is that Garo gets to the point where, you know, again, he does not want anyone's help. He wants to be the ultimate monster. He wants to be the ultimate villain. Not anybody else. He doesn't want anybody else's help. Anytime a monster is like, yo, bro, I'll help you terrorize these heroes, he kills that monster in like half a second. And then he terrorizes the heroes on his own. Because he's Garo. He wants to be him. You know? Independent guy. He wants to do everything himself. Okay? Very important. Now, oh, we have, I actually have the medical kit. Yo, that's based. Haven't done that in a while. But, yeah, so Homie is, like, you know, locked in to basically just... He wants to do it himself. He declines every single person's help, no matter who it is. And then we get to what actually happens. We get to what's actually canon. And it is the dumbest shit imaginable, and it made me so sad, and it pissed me off. I basically, like, I kept reading just because I wanted to catch up on, like, what was happening, and I wanted to get out of this goddamn hell arc. But, so spoilers for Monster Association One Punch Man, I guess, but, like, in One Punch Man, and this is not shown in the manga or the anime. I think it's teased in the web novel, if I remember correctly, but it's not teased in the anime or the manga. But basically, one of the characters in One Punch Man is God, and God tempts people with power and then corrupts them. Now, that is what Bang, the #1 hero, is doing, is he is basically traveling the multiverse, preventing God from corrupting people. And during the Monster Association arc, God is trying to corrupt people. And he tries to corrupt Saitama, but Saitama is just like, what are you, a moron? I don't want any power. I don't want any more power. That'd be boring. You think you can tempt me with power, dumbass? And he tries to tempt a few other people, or God tries to tempt a few other people. I don't really know if it's like I don't know if it's really like a person, or like a concept or an entity. I don't really know, because I stopped reading. I stopped reading One Punch Man shortly after this. But basically, God tempts Garo after Garo loses a fight. And Garo, against his entire character, accepts God's help. Because again, the Garo character that we got in the anime, the manga, would never accept God's help. No matter what. And yet, here we are. And Garo accepts God's help. And then Garo goes dumbass cosmic mode. And okay, it looks cool, I guess, but I don't know. And it's just so lame, dude, because it's like, you know that Saitama will never lose the fight. And this isn't even a threat. This isn't even... it's not even gonna be close, right? But what's even more stupid is Garo's entire shtick is that he emulates the fighting styles of his opponents. But he can't really emulate Saitama's fighting style, because Saitama doesn't have, like, an actual style of fighting. He just throws punches, you know? He literally just... he just punches guys, you know? He just punches people. And so then they do, like, this dumbass cliffhanger ending where it's, like, Garo, like, Galaxy Garo says, like, where Garo, like, copies Saitama's fighting style. And it's like, you're gonna copy throwing a punch? And it's just boring. It's just boring as hell. Because it's like, Garo becomes, like, a universe-level threat, kills everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then the only person left is Saitama, and they, like, battle it out by jumping between planets. And it's like, it reveals that Saitama's power limiter is, like, Saitama is always growing more powerful, and Garo is, like, accelerating Garo's power level, but not anywhere close to being able to actually threaten Saitama. And then, you know, Saitama wins the fight, and Garo's like, oh shit, I killed everyone. And then he's like, okay, this is highly theoretical, but you might be able to throw a punch that rewinds time. And then Saitama throws a punch that rewinds time, and then blah, 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 blah. We're up to where we are now. It just sucks, man. It's just bad. It's just awful. It's just poor. It's just poorly executed. It's bad. It's lame. Because, again, the thing is, people are suckers for, people are complete and utter suckers for things just looking cool. It's all aesthetics, you know? And I think it's, like, the lamest way to experience a story. This is not very good. Like, I think it's the lamest way to experience a story, for sure. Because you're basically in a situation where, that was 16 damage. That was a lot of damage. But, I hate things that are just aesthetics. I really do. I completely despise things that are, like, exclusively aesthetics. Because in One Punch Man, you are guaranteed to know that Saitama will never lose a fight that is, like, an actual fight. Like, he'll lose at a video game, but he's not gonna lose at, like, you know... nobody's gonna be able to beat up Saitama. It's just not possible. That's not the kind of story that it is. There's never gonna be any tension. There's never going to be... when Saitama shows up, there is never going to be tension in who's going to win the fight. And so you don't need something where Saitama's like, you killed Genos, now I'm gonna get super serious, and then he throws a super serious punch. It's like, the whole point of a super serious punch is that it's a joke. It's a gag. It's a bit. His special attack is called a super serious punch. Like, am I going crazy? Am I the only one who am I going crazy? Are you going crazy? Like what the hell do I do? Like what do I think? You know, One Punch Man is a parody, is a really good parody on how the superhero genre can be satirized as, like, this is something realistic that would happen if superpowers and monsters were normal. And then it just turns into, I don't know, like, I hate the word. It's one of my least favorite new speak words that we have. It just turns into slop. It just turns into aesthetic slop that looks cool. And you're like, wow, pretty lights, cool art. And it's like, the art's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's like, you used to have, like, substance. But that was too hard, because it made, it divided the web novel fans and or the webcomic fans, and the manga and anime fans. And so you just, like, turned it into a parody. You turned it into a parody of itself, which is, like, incredible. I didn't even know you could do that. But it's just, like, ugh. What the hell, dude? Get me out of here. I gotta fight 2 bosses? -1 dexterity. Hello, hi. Again, you see somebody in front of our window, a rabid beast invading your territory, but it's actually just our neighbor. And you need to chill. Yes, you do. Hi. But yeah, no, I just... Oh, man. Thinking about One Punch Man pisses me off so much. Because it's like, again, it used to be goated. Like, it used to be incredible. But we can't have... like, they just fumbled the bag. We can't have good shit anymore. Like, see, like, the One Punch Man anime, exclusively good. If you want to watch the One Punch Man anime, and if you have not watched the One Punch Man anime, you should. It's really good. Season 1 and Season 2 are both really good. But, like, I don't know, I think, like, I guess people just miss the point on, like, 90% of the things that happen in One Punch Man, and it's kind of, like, sad. Because it's really good. It's a really good show. It's a really good manga. But it is just bogged down constantly by the... basically, like, the people who are, like, One and... is it Murata? No, I don't remember the mangaka's name. But, like, One and the mangaka work on the story together. And they get, like, direct fan feedback and all that stuff. Like, it's just sort of, like, hampered by the fact that they just keep rewriting shit over and over and over and over again. And it's like, I don't really fuck with it. I think that the superhero genre is, like, the most cursed genre imaginable. And I think it's, like, kind of dumb to try to do a superhero story. Because One Punch Man was good for a long time, right? Like, I would say that One Punch Man was fantastic. Yeah, that works out perfectly fine. It feels a little bad leaving all that space unfilled, but we're fine. Because we can just do this. And do, like, 80 damage. But, I don't know, I just, like, thinking about One Punch Man pisses me off. Because it was really, really good, and you should read it until it gets annoying, and you should watch the whole anime, because the whole anime is really good. But, like, it's just... It's not... It just fumbled the bag so hard, because they couldn't commit to the manga and anime storyline, so they wrote everything leading up into the anime and manga storyline, and then they got scared, and then they rewrote small chunks of it, and then they replaced it with, like, some of the web novel why do I keep calling it a web novel? Web comic moments. And it just, like, overall harms the experience, because it turned from a really smart and clever parody on superheroes, and it turned it into slop, basically. Sorry. And then now I'm thinking about, because I said we spent the entire video talking about One Punch Man, but there was one other thing I mentioned at the very beginning, and that was Invincible, okay? Invincible, I actually never finished reading because it just pissed me off. I hate Invincible so much, dude. I hate it so much, man. I fucking hate it so much. It was... I enjoyed reading it, and then I really, really didn't. I really, really didn't. But the new Season 3 of Invincible is out now, and god damn it, they need to bring back the porn animators. Like, what the hell, man? Like, the Season 1 of Invincible, absolute cinema. You're never getting anything like that again. You needed to appreciate the animation quality that you got when you got it. It's the same thing with like something like Chainsaw Man, right? Like, the Chainsaw Man anime is one of the, like, greatest looking things I've ever seen. And we're never going to get something like that ever again. It's beautiful. It's art. It's incredible. Right? Like, that is an achievement. Right? Like, that shit is an artistic achievement that you would not see that shit ever again. Like, it's a miracle that that happened. And I know that the studio that did it is the one that, like, abuses their workers. But, like, that's bad, and you shouldn't do that. But even under those conditions, because normally, you know, when you abuse your workers, it looks bad. You know, the quality is shit. However, how the hell Chainsaw Man Part 1 got animated like that, I have no idea. Chainsaw Man is great, by the way, and that is a pseudo, like, superhero thing. But it's more, like, based on, like, government than it is, like, independent superhero organizations. Like, say something like the Justice League that's, like, independent of a government. I would recommend Chainsaw Man wholeheartedly. If there's one media property that I've talked about today that you should see, it's Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is just 10 out of 10. The fan base, at least from what I've seen on Twitter, has serious media literacy issues, but the actual, like, Chainsaw Man Part 1 and Part 2 is really good. And I think Denji is a great MC. And here's the thing, the reason why I'm thinking about it right now is that I saw a tweet that was about how dumb and stupid Mark is in Invincible. And I was like, yeah, he is dumb and stupid in Invincible, and I hate him. And then everybody in the replies was like, wah, you can't handle non-perfect protagonists who make mistakes. And it's like, no, buddy. Denji is a non-perfect protagonist who makes mistakes and is a flawed person. But Denji is cool. I like Denji. Denji is a cool guy. Alright? Denji is a great protagonist. Mark just pisses me off. Everybody in Invincible pisses me off. And I'm so, like, they're gonna ruin Cecil. They're gonna ruin Cecil. Like, they kind of, okay. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now, but can you blame me with how 2025 has been going? It's been 1 month. It's not even been a month since the inauguration, has it? And things are already to the point it is. So I think you can forgive me just a little bit. I think you can forgive me. Tomorrow is a month? Or is today a month? Oh no, it has been a month. That's wacky. That's crazy, dude. So it has been a month. It's been a month into the inauguration, and yeah, it's already that bad. So I think you can forgive me just a little bit. Just a tiny bit, right? For being a little scatterbrained. But, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something, and it was gonna be cool. That's not good. That's not a good way to start this fight. We're just gonna use a little sewing kit here, and then, we do have handcuffs, but I'm not, I haven't played any games of League today, so my mouse game kind of sucks right now. But we will do that, though. Just kind of take the easy dub, right? But, everything, okay, this is gonna be completely unhinged, except for, like, the few anointed individuals who know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? How many of you are aware of the fictional character Sayaka Miki, okay? Sayaka Miki is a character who is designed to be in no matter what multiverse, no matter what universe, she is designed to be the character that gets shit on. She's designed to be the sufferer, okay? Other people can have happy endings, except for her. She has to always make the worst decisions possible. She has to always get screwed over no matter what. In every single Madoka Magica book, it doesn't matter which one it is, Sayaka Miki gets screwed over, alright? I feel like every character in Invincible is Sayaka Miki, all at the same time, and it pisses me off. Because I hate writing like that. I really, really hate writing like that. Where it's like, okay, we have a character. What's their purpose? To exist and then die. To exist and die. Oh shit, you can't actually see the Ayaka the Irizumi tattoo. We would have to take a bath, but we've already taken a bath. So we don't actually get to see it. The rare Aiko tattoo will not be spotted today. But yeah, no. Every character in Invincible is competent and intelligent until the plot needs them to be an absolute moron that makes the worst possible decision, and it pisses me off, dude. I was watching a YouTube short, and it reminded me about what happened with the eldest Viltrumite or whatever, and how that plays out. And it's like, why? Why? Like, why did that have to happen? And then people are talking about Dinosaurus right now, and it's like, I want to scream. I need to reread Invincible, and I need to finish Invincible so I can be properly mad at it, so that I can actually properly talk about it. But, like, Invincible pisses me off, dude. And now I'm thinking about Battle Beast, and I'm like, what the... I don't want to think about this shit, dude. But here's the thing. Thinking about this shit makes me mad at, like, fiction. And so it's, like, a funny kind of mad and not, like, a serious kind of mad. And being funny mad at something is better for your mental sanity than being real scared and terrified about everything happening in reality right now. So I think, you know, maybe we'll do a little bit of Invincible discourse arc. But, like, I hate superhero shit so much, man. It pisses me off every time I think about it. Like, I'm trying to think about, is there a superhero thing that I like in the modern day? And I don't really, and I mean, Invincible was written a while ago, so that's, like, you know, pretty fair, right? But, like, is there, like, a superhero thing that isn't DC or Marvel that I like? And the answer is, like, not really. I was painting, right? Yeah. All the other ones were boss mysteries. And you gotta do thaumaturgy in the first couple. But, I don't know, like, One Punch Man pissed me off, so I stopped reading it. And then Invincible pissed me off, so I stopped reading it. But everybody's talking about, like, Invincible right now, because there's, like, so many, like, Season 3 just came out, and, like, Invincible spoiler comic YouTube shorts are, like, in vogue right now. They're in season. And it's reminding me of the things about the comic of Invincible that piss me off, and I'm like, maybe we need to go back about, maybe we need to return to the glory days of being mad about fiction, and just being, like, incomprehensibly mad about fiction and what they did to manga Garo versus comic Garo. I will probably do more serious, like, spoiler warning stuff if we get into Invincible discourse, but god damn. I'm just thinking about it, and it's like, you know, it really is, it's look who it is. We need to go, like, achievement hunting on the next episode, because we're not unlocking anything. Is it time for the challenge arc? Wait, have we never called Junko? Yeah, of course we've called Junko. That was, like, one of the first things we did. Oh, we have the stupid follower things. Drink the blood of a forgotten beast, blah, 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 blah. But, Dad, yeah, we'll do the challenges, just because that's, like, pretty easy for me to just do. And I'm not, like, trying to brag. Mimi's little project took us, like, 7 episodes, but, the second time we did it, But I don't know. It's like an easy achievement for me to get without having to really think about it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Have a good one. Read and or watch Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man Part 1. You should probably watch it, because it's really good. But I don't even think, like... It's not really... Like, Part 2 is... Like, I don't think the anime covers all of Part 1, right? Because the Part 1 is, like, the Gun Devil stuff, right? Like, it's all of that, and then the anime ends before that. Because the anime ends with the, I think it ends with the katana dude, right? I need to rewatch Chainsaw Man Part 1. That shit was a banger. But yeah, Chainsaw Man's great. Out of the 3 things that I talked about, well, I talked about Madoka Magica very briefly. Madoka Magica is very good, and we're getting the new movie soon. So maybe you should watch that too, but I don't know. Out of all 4 of those things, Chainsaw Man's just like the GOAT, so... Anyways, stay safe out there. Have a good one. Bye.